Okay. At the time of the explosion, Joey was 29, and over the years he grew from a mischievous boy to he had a son at that point in time that was 4, and he grew up to be a very good father. He was a disciplinarian. I would call myself a disciplinarian, but he was a disciplinarian with his son Parker, and it did an excellent job in him. He raised the boy. He raised him in the church. He raised him in a good, solid home, and we were very, very proud of him.
As a mother, he was always there for me, I guess. He was a big part of our family. He's the one that would come and do his jokes and bond everybody together. He never took credit for anything. He was a very giving, loving person. I would say his heart was as big as the state of Texas. And for him to be able to go out and help anyone was his goal in life. And he did it and then hid behind and didn't take credit for anything. He was always the first one there. I knew the day of the explosion he was there because he would go to bed with his pager on, as Kelly would tell you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was the ideal son.
He was also the, what you call, perfect husband. I mean, he was also the city manager for the city of West. He was there not only for the fire department, but for the city. After hours, he would have 2 phones, his personal phone and his work phone, and he would answer, and of course the fire pager. And anytime one of those went off, he was always there for anybody, no matter what time it was. If a citizen called with a problem, he would get up and do the best he could to make sure that that citizen was taken care of. He just cared about everybody, no matter who you were. He was also the treasurer for the fire department. Every activity that the fire department would have, he was always involved in it, whether it be from the cook-off to anything. We had to fill the boot. I'm on the auxiliary, and he helped out so much with that also. And I still, to this day, am on the auxiliary to, I'll never fill his shoes and do what he did for the fire department, but I can do the best I can and carry that on for him.
I would say when he began to work for the city of West, they immediately asked him to join the West Volunteer Fire Department, and he mentioned it to Carolyn and I that they asked him. Of course, his mother didn't particularly want him to put himself in any kind of danger or anything, but he accepted that challenge, and he lived that part. He went to many of the trainings. As a matter of fact, he went to the Texas A&M Fire School just probably a month or so before the explosion, and was really excited about all the information that he gathered and lived that part. He lived it very well, and he encouraged all of his brother firefighters to go seek that further education and all that. Of course, they had a brotherhood there in the city of West, and some of those gentlemen lost their lives too, along with Joey. So it was several people that will be very, very missed, and they died as heroes. There's no doubt about it. They died as heroes.
Well, I think his giving heart, there was the Christmas before 2013, there was a little girl who was unfortunate and didn't have anything for Christmas, and so he collected all the toys and stuff for this little girl, and he always dressed up as Santa for children. And so that day we were having our Christmas actually on Christmas Eve, and he said he had to go, and he dressed up for Santa, and there was other people who wanted to take pictures and all that, and Joey didn't want that. So he ended up getting in the truck early and leaving. And he had another guy to drive the truck, and he rode on the back, and he went and brought that to that little girl, which made her Christmas. And he was just thrilled that he could do that. And, you know, that was Joey. I mean, he always gave. And, you know, I think even if he knew what was going to happen in the explosion, I think he still would have been there, because he was trying to save his town. And we were only 300 yards away ourselves. And so I know he was worried about getting everything, you know, under control. And, you know, he was picking up his daughter, actually, from a class, and dropped her off at the fire station and took off. So, you know, he had a servant's heart. It's the best I can do that. His goal in life was to help everybody else, and he'd always put himself last.
And
He
like,
never.
like she said, you know, he never wanted to be, he didn't do it for recognition. He did it because that's what he wanted to do in his heart. And, you know, there's not many people like that. They always want recognition, but not Joey. He never wanted recognition for it. He did it because he wanted to.
And you'd see him driving in the fire truck with his, has a dimple. So he would always smile, and his dimple would be showing, and he'd be waving, you know, like, look at me, Mom.
He was very, very proud to be a firefighter.
I think immediately after he joined the volunteer fire department, within the first year, he began to go to the schools, the local schools, and talk to them about fires and what they need to do and what they should expect, and held the classes inside the schools. And kids loved him because he related a lot to those kids in different ways, and was patient to field their questions and answer their questions and all that kind of thing. And he really enjoyed to do that too. I think one other point too, you know, if you think about, you know, that day and that explosion, you would think that the fire department failed because there was still an explosion. But if you saw pictures of the devastation and the people that was in close proximity of that were affected, there was a nursing home right there. There was many families there. Those guys showing up on the scene to delay that just enough for those people to get out of harm's way. And there was only like 15 people that perished. It could have been hundreds if those guys would have been there.
So even though they risked their own life and lost their lives, they saved many others. And they wouldn't have it any other way.